I developed this recipe right in the middle of COVID because it was really hard to get food for a while with the risk of going to the store and deliveries and did they have anything, you know? So I make pizza a bit, right? And I came up with this for one of the reasons I did this is because this way the vegetables would not go bad because you didn't know when you were going to get any more, so I wanted to keep them. And I have a food dehydrator, and I strongly recommend anybody that can afford one, get one. And I can probably show the videos at some point. I have one way in the history on doing dried mushrooms. The green peppers and the onions are the same deal. And I'll just show you the recipe now. First thing to do is get your can of tomato paste opened up. I always use the no salt. It tastes just as good. And less sodium is always better for your health. Add 1 can of water. Gently mix that up so it doesn't splash all over the counter. Once you have that worked in, a few lumps are okay because you're going to be stirring it some more. Just get about a teaspoon of either oregano or Italian seasoning mix. Either one works just as well. Now for this, okay, the onions are really the key for this for me because I do a really nice, let me show you here, caramelized dried onion. Now if you can't get these or you haven't got a dehydrator, you can use onion flakes that are available pretty much anywhere. So what you do is you just get a handful, okay, like that. Do it over the bowl. Now, if you find this painful on your hands, by all means, just put it into a sandwich bag and mash it up, which I will do for the green peppers because they're feisty little critters and they got really sharp edges. Okay, so just mix that in, that one. One thing I really like about using the dried vegetables is not only is the flavor much more intense in the sauce, because they're dried and they're absorbing moisture, they never soak the crust. You never end up with a soggy crust doing this. And the flavor gets really intense with the tomato paste, and I really like it. Some people always prefer fresh. If you're going to do that, let me give you a tip there. Cut them in the morning and just let them dry out, open to the air on a plate for the afternoon until you're ready to make the sauce or your pizza. Because that way you won't have all that water in the vegetables that's going to kind of liquefy your pizza. Because I am assuming people do not have ovens that cook at those lovely temperatures. And I'm even in the process of having to rework half of my recipes because boy does this one cook quick. Goes in there. Just give that a stir. And lastly, I use mushrooms. I got a mix of white and brown in here. And again, I just pick up a big handful, hold it over the bowl, and crush them. These ones are pretty soft, so they're not going to hurt you very much. I don't get out a bag for these. And if there's any nasty hard chunks, like I can feel that one right there, that's just not going in. And if you're asking, how long do you let this sit for? I do this right at the beginning before I start making the pizza dough. And after the pizza dough is made and risen and it's all ready to go, the sauce is exactly ready at the same time. So that's kind of nice about this, that you don't have to time it for a certain degree. And I'll show this later when I put it together so you see what I mean. Time to make the pizza. And here's that lovely sauce I did up earlier. And you can see that all the dried vegetables have rehydrated nicely. And it's nice and thick, so it's not going to soak the crust. Now, what you can do, that was a bit too much of a big chunk, but just basically dollop it right around the crust. And you always want to remember you want to put more sauce near the edges than right in the middle. Because then if you do it all in the middle, then when you cut it, it just kind of pools. So once you've scraped out as much as you can get, just kind of start gently spreading that out. And you can see how nice and thick that is. Now, if that's too thick for you, by all means add a little bit more water to your own taste when you first make it. But be very, very careful. Go a tablespoon at a time, because it's very easy to basically turn this into soup if you're not careful. See, that's why I do all these experiments, so you don't have to.